Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. Well, I have the Bitcoin chart open. In this video, I want to talk about a historical structure or pattern that is extremely important and relevant, I believe, to today's chart. So that structure is the very beginning structure on the Bitcoin chart. So if we were to go back to the very beginning of the Bitcoin chart, that is back in October 2009, you would see something like this. Now, it is difficult to make sense of this structure as it is very hard to read and discern the way it is right now. However, this structure is key to interpreting today's chart and the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this structure right here so you can see what it looks like. So it goes, what it appears to go flat right here. It moves up a little, has this little plateau that's moving upward, and then it drops again, and then it kind of goes flat again, and then it finally goes up sharply. Well, there's more to it than meets the eye. So let's delete this, and I want to focus on this part right here. So this roughly to here. So if you were to add some depth to this, bam, you see that this is actually more than just a flat structure. So let's continue to add to this. So let's add this part right here. Let's do this right here since it's easier to work with. So now we see a different picture. So we see a bull run, a decline, it goes flat, and then it starts to move back up in a new bull run. So I just only did this part right here roughly. However, it continues to move up aggressively and it comes to a peak. So if we were to take this structure and copy and paste it onto today's chart, it would look something like this. Now, this is important because it is the very first structures. So this structure right here, this is the original, this is the genesis of Bitcoin's bull run, bear market, and recovery. So this structure right here, it is my belief that this structure is repeated many times throughout Bitcoin's history. If we jump back to today's chart, right here, we see that while it is not quite as filled in, it's kind of bare bones compared to what it is doing today, it's nonetheless representative of what the chart is doing. So here you have the bull run, you have this move up here, which is represented here, you have this peak here, which is represented, you have this drop right here, and then it does this, which happened further down, but it still is doing the same thing. You have this peak right here, which is right here, and you have the final peak, which is right here. You have the decline, you have this move up right here, which is represented here. It's a bare bones, basic idea, the primordial version of what is later filled in with much more detail, and it's much more elaborate later on in the future. It comes to a bottom right here. It goes flat. Now, I included this part here because in other versions of this decline, there are some that end in a bounce right here. And in the past, this bounce has gone all the way back down to here. This time it didn't. It is part of this bottoming out structure. After this, it starts moving up. And as you can see, the timing fits with this as well. So it comes down, bottoms out, and then this right here is really the true recovery, starting right here. As you can see, it moves up. In today's chart, it does a bounce, but then it drops just like it should. And we have this flat area right here on today's chart, just like the original structure on Bitcoin. And we will soon enter this part of the structure, which will be a little more movement. However, it won't be a massive bull run. When we get to here, this doesn't necessarily mean that today's chart is going to do this. On many iterations, sometimes it does this, other times it kind of goes flat for a little longer, and then it moves up. Here is another iteration of this structure from the 2013 decline and then the recovery that takes place after that. So here we see that. Now this is just a portion of it. It goes up more aggressively. But as you can see, here we see the bottoming out structure. This goes deeper, as I was telling you. By this time, it was around 2015. It starts to move up. It does the crash. And here, where we are today, it does something similar. So it goes flat, and then it starts to get more dynamic. And here it's interesting. It moves up where the original one just took off. This one comes back down, and then it kind of, after a while, does the move up like it did here. So what I want to point out in this video is the different segments of this recovery phase. So there is the bottoming out part. There is this part right here, which we have completed. There's this little flat part right here, which we are working through right now, after which it goes into a more kind of bumpy move up, and then it could potentially move up here, or it could do something like this. Again, there are many iterations of this, some with new data added, like here, for instance. The original one did not have that. And this is typical of a structure that repeats. Over time, it evolves, it adds new data to it. And everything that is added has the potential to repeat as well. So these small little evolutions over time, they can create a palette, if you will, of a large variety of possibilities that could take place on the Bitcoin chart. Anyways, that was just a little insight into the repetitive nature of the Bitcoin chart, and I want to show you how the very first original structure is still just as relevant today as it was when it first took place. So how this will play out, we'll have to see. It could do something like the original one. It could do something like the later iterations of it. But we are currently on course to continue the standard Bitcoin bull run. Now, I don't know how high it will go, but there is nothing indicating that this time is different. Well, I hope you found this video interesting. You know, this is not financial advice, but if you did find it interesting, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. This type of TA, if you enjoyed it, it's original. This is a method, a system of using historical structures to predict the future that I have come up with. It's, like I said, it's original. So if you found this video interesting, I recommend you hitting that subscribe button. I'm a new channel. You may have a hard time finding me again. Hitting that subscribe button will make it easy. I'll continue to update this chart as it continues to develop. I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.